Welcome, guys, to the first episode of the Daily Faith Podcast. It's a podcast where young adults can express themselves of how their day-to-day life is in their walk with Christ, and the struggles that they go through with. We have some people that we want to honor, so I leave the handout over to Brother Savanas.
Yeah, well, on the very platform that we're using, we gotta honor spiritual parents. That's Apostle Orlando and Apostle Paulette. We also have to honor our very own youth pastors, our very own youth leaders. That's Pastor Laquan Smith and Pastor Rabiella Smith. And of course, we honor all the apostles, the prophets, the teachers, and the evangelists of this house. What did I say? I said apostles, prophets, teachers, and the pastors of this house.
Yeah, I believe you got everybody.
Yeah, I hope so. I hope so.
So the topic for the first episode is gonna be why Jesus. So like, what made you, or where did you come to the conclusion like Jesus and the life of God is like the best decision or the best path of life for you? When did you make that decision, and yeah, what made you make that choice?
Uh, well, let's say, cause I got two answers. As someone who like grew up in church, I got two answers. So you want like the deeper answer, or you just want the regular answer?
The flow is yours.
All right. Well, I'll do it like this. From the moment where I started to take it serious for myself. Growing up in a Christian household, especially with a praying mother. Shout out to my mom's. She was someone who I always saw praying for us. She used to pray consistently, visibly, 3 times a week, but she was always locked up in her room in prayer. But I always used to see the things that she was praying for beginning to work. So at a certain point, I just started to take like an interest into that life and into that lifestyle. But it was only when I think I came up here to the Netherlands and I was in fact stripped away from my family. Then I started to see, nah, there's more to this than what I've been seeing my whole life. And I think that's when everything started to like really turn for me, and I started to get personal with God for myself. I started to really see that He wasn't just real, but He was real to me. And so that's when I started taking my faith walk a whole lot more serious.
Okay, so like when you came to Holland, like you really had a realization of how you walk with Christ.
Yeah, yeah. I mean, from before it was, I had no prayer life. You
Okay,
always know God is real, right?
for sure.
And but it's for some reason it always takes like that one thing. It's always like that one turning point, and it's got to be a personal turning point for you, and no one else can have it for you.
Right.
So the moment when you have that turning point, it's more of like a I definitely can't go back type of thing.
Okay, and how was that experience for you? First time, like you felt something
Uh,
different, or like
definitely felt something different, and you begin to come into a realization of everything else that has been happening
hmm,
to you over the years. Because as I said, I grew up in church.
right.
Uh, Coming up here, you coming to find out, I had multiple encounters with God, and I never knew because no one could ever explain it to me
Hmm.
until I came up here and I began to understand everything that was happening to me throughout my life. So it was the point of realization, I would say, not the point of like when it happened, but it was the point when I realized it.
Yeah,
That's when it became a turning point for me.
I feel you. I feel you. Yeah, I would think for me, I think the same. I grew up in a household with like my grandmother, and she was a real church going woman. You know, church every Sunday. Yeah, be on time
Yeah,
every
yeah,
Sunday.
yeah.
So like, yeah. But like at that time and in that moment, I wasn't really feeling it then. Even when I came here, I feel like bet freedom. And then I came to live with my dad, and then back to the church life. So like
Uh,
boom. So like for me it was like last year, you know. It comes a point in your life where you have to realize and accept that, you know, this got to be God at a given moment. So it's not like, you know, there's a point where things come to coincidental. So it's like by coincidence, and then it's like this can't be coincidence. You understand? This come to a point where like, you know, like God really did intervene in this point. And for me, that was mostly it. You know, if I look back on my life, you know, and what all I've been through and so forth, and to be honest with you, it was up to me. I would be lying in bed all day. But like, you know, you wake up every morning and then it's like the question, okay, why am I wake up? Why am I up this morning? You know, what's my purpose of waking up this morning? You know, and then you like think about it and like, yeah, you know, because maybe God has a purpose for you for waking up that day or for a purpose in your life, and that's why He waking you up this morning. So for me, it was like more like, you know, of a grace, of a grateful aspect of it. So like grateful for all God did in my life, you know, the things He got me out of, you know, because I couldn't do it alone, to be honest. So you know, in the back of your head, you might think, yeah, you know, me, myself, and I. But if you really look at it, you know, it could never be you, yourself, and I. There's always has to be a greater power that has to intervene to help you
Yeah.
get out of your situations, and that was mostly it for me when I
But
got baptized.
I mean, like, it's okay. So, what exactly was it, or what exactly is it that has you? Because the Bible always tells us that we gotta like pick up our cross
Yeah,
daily, right? So my question to you is like, what is that thing that has you choosing for Jesus daily?
daily, I would say because if I look back in the past, like if I look at my worldly life that I used to
Mm.
live, right, and I look at it and be like, what is there actually there to gain if I go back? You understand? What is there actually for me there? And I look at it that perspective, you know, let's say God forbid I fall back into the world. And then I look then it's like, what am I actually falling back into? There's basically nothing there for me, personally.
But so you came, but you know that's crazy because a lot of people they've been in the world and they still are, and they understand that they don't get fulfillment from the world, but for some reason they keep trying, and
Yeah.
they keep trying, and they'll push and they'll push and they'll be 80 years old on their deathbed, and then they'll say that they've lived a full life. But you came to that realization pretty early, I would say.
I mean, it's because I've been doing a lot of worldly things. For example, right? When I used to be in a go out or be in a club a lot, you know, there's a you feel fulfilled in the moment.
Mhm.
But after you leave the club, you go home and then it's like, okay, you feel the temporariness of that pleasure. Like, what did I actually do? Like some even when I used to be in the club, I'd be like, you know, I really want to go home and just lay in my bed. You check. That's what it used to be sometimes, you know, but it's because I'm with a group of people, you know, like, okay, cool, you know, let me just try and find some enjoyment in it. But deep down, you know, like I'm just a homebody. So I just really wanted to chill home and just relax. And then, yeah. So then I was like, okay, cool. You know, let me give Jesus a try. And yeah, since then I've been on it every day. I mean, the struggle is there, you know. I just,
Yeah.
you know, recently got baptized. So, you know,
Congrats, congrats.
yeah. So it's difficult. It's difficult.
Okay, but I'll okay. So let me. I want to let me. All
Yeah.
right. So that decision of getting baptized, how
Yeah.
was that?
Poof. Good question. How was it? I mean, the water was cold. I ain't gonna lie with you. But it was, you know, you exciting. Yeah. You know, you can only be excited for what's new.
Mm.
You know, that's mostly what it was. You know, you have to be open for like, okay, cool. What's the next step? You know, how do I go further? You know what I'm saying? Because I feel after you get baptized, you know, there's a hunger there, and you gotta be fed.
Mm.
So that's how the feeling for me personally was. You know, you feel a refreshment. Okay, like it comes in like, okay, this is a new chapter of my life. I've opened up. Let's get this serious and be serious with it. You know. So that's mostly it. But like for you, like if I ask you, like what's like one of the couple of things like was really like when you was making that transition from like your worldly life to like the cross, like walking with Christ.
Yeah.
What was one of those things like you was like struggling with, like to let go a bit?
Uh, Definitely music.
Music.
Definitely. So I always had this thing of where there was like this OG group of hip hop, of Christian hip hop, and they used to like make music that was totally dope around a certain point. But after a while, when the entire world like started gearing a bit more towards trap,
Right, right.
and then they try to switch up to go try to make trap music, I gotta be honest, they sucked at it at first. They suck. They're getting better now, but they sucked at it at first, man.
Yeah.
I'm be completely honest. So then I started listening to like a whole lot of the worldly music because I'm just saying, nah, this is just better. This is just better, right?
Right, right, right.
But then at a certain point, I started to like, I couldn't let go of that music. I used to go so hard, and if it's only when I'm looking at through my Spotify raps through the years, I started to see like my deliverance slowly taking place. I started to slowly replace the Rod Waves and MA Young Boys with Theophilus now, Dunson Oyekan.
I had you. I had you. I had you.
So those that was the hardest thing that I had to let go of.
Right, right,
But
right.
what the thing that helped for me was music has always been my way of communicating with God.
Mm-hmm.
I would always have a certain song on my heart, and then it always seemed like the next song that would come after would be an answer to the one that was there before.
Mm-hmm.
You know, so when I started realizing that the music that I'm listening to can actually be a way of communication between me and God, that was when that started to turn around for me.
Mm. Hey, yeah, music can be a big point. Not gonna lie to you, it was a couple of things for me. Music, I thought honestly, I thought it was gonna be like a hard thing, but to the grace of God, it wasn't really that hard.
No?
Nah, I mean, if I could be completely honest with you, now and then I would hear myself listening to the music, but then like the conviction just be
Mm,
so hard, like, bro,
yeah.
how is this music benefiting your walk with Christ, bro? Like, switch it back. Or like when I hear like a curse word in the music, right away, like, let me just turn this thing off
Yeah.
or switch to something different. But yeah, finding new music was also like, it was difficult, you know, like, cause I like rap. You know what I'm saying? Praise and worship, it's for whoever. It's important though, because if I had to choose between praise and worship, I would definitely choose worship. Praise is good, but I like worship. So yeah, he had to like scout out. Okay, literally was on YouTube, literally was on Spotify, just typing in okay worship playlist or gospel rappers. Even on SoundCloud because then you got underground rappers. So I was
Yeah.
even on SoundCloud typing okay some gospel rap. Okay, what's a gospel artist? You come across Cajun Boone. Those type of guys. So it was quite good. Then you realize gospel rap, Christian rap ain't that bad after all. You look into it. I would say, man, like you gotta be open for it, man. If you're not open for that type of music, you could never really associate yourself with it. When like I think what's most important too, like you don't find music that's really too comparison to your worldly music,
Yeah.
because then, for example, if you have like a Christian rapper rapping on the same beat as a worldly song, then automatically the worldly lyrics will just pop up in your head, and then you won't do that unconsciously. So that's like one thing I try like to avoid. Like make sure it's not a worldly beat that I know, or like it's more Christ like type of beat.
But there was like actually like a certain point where I was like trying to like transition,
Hmm.
where I like stopped listening to music completely.
Yeah,
At a certain point, like, I like
I feel
so
you there.
it because I was listening to the worldly music, but then I had like the Christian music that I was also trying to listen to, and at a certain point, it was just like a constant fight.
Yeah,
The conviction was there
yeah,
all the time, but it was like I couldn't help it. So at a certain point, I just stopped listening to all kinds of music,
I
and it
feel
was
you.
it used to be so it used to be so weird because I used to like get on a bus, and you see all these people like listening to the music and they're vibing, right?
Yeah,
And it's you had the headphones in your pocket and you had the music in your phone, but just didn't feel like listening to it.
I ain't gonna lie with you. I've been there.
Yeah.
Yeah, man. Cause like once you get baptized, like you really wondering, okay, trying to distinguish and sort out things. So it was really a moment I just didn't listen to no music whatsoever until like I really got that lockdown, stopped listening to certain music. But I will
Yeah.
have like one. I started off slow, like okay, one or two Christian songs, and okay, then delete this, and then other songs, and because like I'm from Caribbean, so dancehall was really a big part of my
Yeah.
music genre. So like cutting that off, you know, I'm gonna lie, it wasn't that hard, man. For me, like personally, in yeah, I wouldn't say like some people struggle with that a lot, but like I really like because I know I listen to music all the time. You see me in my car, music blasting every time, my headphones in all times. So like music was really a key point in my walk with Christ to really like distance myself from the world. And like when I found the music I can listen to, and I'd be like, boom, this is good, then it make it a lot more easier for me. Like, cause like my favorite rapper was Lil Durk. I can't tell you the last time I listened to a Lil Durk song. Like if you play it, yeah, okay, cool, I might know it, but like his new albums, new drops, whatever, I
Nah.
totally know. I'm oblivious of those
And
type of things.
I
Bro.
think that's like when you actually reach that notice point of like when you're actually changing. It's like when your
Yeah,
favorite rapper drops like a whole new album or something,
yeah.
and you watch a whole bunch of people going crazy over it, but you for yourself, you're just not interested.
But I had that like when I was like when I got baptized. I think Rod Rave like 2 weeks later dropped a new album. so so yeah, it was like boom, how we gonna do this, man?
That's like the ultimate test.
That's like how we gonna do this, man? How we gonna do this? But I worked through it a bit. I try like okay, cool. I'ma just leave that for me. 'Cause I didn't have for it was a moment I didn't have Spotify. You understand what I'm
Yeah,
saying? So I
yeah.
didn't have Spotify. So majority of my Christian music was on SoundCloud because Spotify had all my old playlists,
Oh yeah, yeah, yeah. So
everything.
so the algorithm gonna keep sending you.
Yeah, so not even the algorithm. Even if I go to my like songs, I would see Lil Durk, Popcorn, Vice Cartel, and all those things. So it would just even if I just click on a Christian song, the majority of my playlist is worldly music. So it would just automatically hit there. But really, when I was doing my research, it was mostly on SoundCloud. So I had to like really like, okay, this rapper is here on SoundCloud. I had to do it on Spotify. But yeah, music was one of the things I really had to let go. Another thing that I really had to let go was smoking weed. I ain't gonna lie with you.
Yeah.
But that's like, that's way before I got baptized, I started smoking weed. But I think like when I was coming, before you get baptized, there's still a period where
Yeah.
like you're trying to like come to that decision. And in that period is when I had like stopped for it. And, I was even when I before I got baptized, even before I come go in church, now I used to pray like, "Hey yo, I gotta start, I gotta start smoking this weed, bro. I gotta start smoking this weed, bro. I gotta start smoking this weed, bro." Because like the music you listen to also promotes it. So like I wasn't, yeah, it was me for like smoking weed was really like my gateway of getting away from reality. You know what I'm saying? Some people talk, some people go out. Me, I just chill home after a long, long day at work, just blaze it up. But then I came to the conclusion, like, the weed was leading me into more sin.
Yeah.
Okay, let's say it might not have been a sin to smoke weed, but that was like a gateway to lead me into doing more sin. So like I said, okay, cool. I gotta start smoking weed. Boom, bam. In the months between I got baptized and now I stopped smoking weed. And when I got baptized, it was really like boom, boom, boom. Got stopped. So now like it's been with the grace of God, is like this month and this month itself has been like a year since I started smoking weed. So I thank God for that.
Congrats, bro. Congrats.
Thanks, man. Thanks, man. But
But
yeah.
but like I hope like everybody noticing this, right? Because like for everybody, it's a different process. It's a different thing.
Right.
Like let's take the music for example. For him, it was like mad quick and mad easy to do. For me, it was
Ho. I want to say easy. I want to say easy.
whoa. Okay.
I want to say easy, but like the understanding made it much doable. You understand? Once you understand like what you're doing it for and like what the consequences of your actions can be, even if you fall into sin, then it's much like doable. Because then you know. Because I know what I was doing at a given point. I know what the consequences would be if I start doing that. I know what the consequences would be if I start doing this. So once I knew the consequences of my actions, then I was like, yeah, rather not.
So you would say that your understanding is what helped to bring your deliverance about.
A bit, yeah.
That's a nugget.
Because like some people just give their life to Christ, and then after they give their life to Christ, they come to the understanding of what they're
Yeah.
doing. I think what's important is like to come to the understanding first of what you're doing, have like a real clear image of what you're doing, and then you make that decision to give your life to Christ. Because people paint it like, yeah, give your life to Christ, and then they paint it like
Bro,
like it's
look,
an easy road,
bro,
but
listen.
then
Hold on.
when you get on that road, it's like, oh
Hold on,
my
wait,
gosh,
because y'all about to get me started in here. Look, listen, all right? Listen, okay? I was watching this movie the other day.
right?
Now, I think it was called The Forge,
Yeah,
right? Now, great Christian movie. I only had one problem. The boy gave his life to Christ. And from since that point, everything went as smooth as butter. And
right.
I said, if they had to bring the actual Christian walk into view, if they had to like actually put it in,
Yeah.
it would be struggle after struggle after struggle. The boy had a 1 minute conversation with God and turned his entire life around. I
Right.
said, if you knew the fire you would the Holy Ghost fire you would have to go through before you ended up turning your life halfway around. And the only reason you would know that you've only turned your life halfway around is because he would show you the other half you still have to turn around for him.
Right. Yeah, I think that is important to let people know the reality. Like
Yeah, it's
it's not easy,
not at all.
but the important thing is like at the end of the day, just choose Christ.
You reach it, and
Yeah,
it's. I think it's your heart position
that's true.
mostly. As
Yeah,
long as your heart position is in the right, because that's what he's looking at mostly, right? It's your heart position. So once your heart position is in the right place, then yeah, it's gonna be okay. It's gonna be fine.
I think so. Yeah, gotta have faith. gotta have faith. Gotta have faith. Gotta have faith. Gotta have faith.
Daily.
Gotta have faith.
But like, what exactly was it? Like, was it like a certain situation that made you say, okay, fine, I'm gonna go with Jesus? Like, was it a certain situation or a set of situations?
I wouldn't say a set of situations. I would say like if I look like how my life was going, I was just tired of it. It was really just tiredness, like, bro, you know, just really absolutely just tired. Like, what am I doing with my life? Like, what's my purpose? Like, cause I went school, finished school, got a job, doing the regular 9 to 5. I like it though. That make it sound like I don't like it. It's really good, but then what else? You understand? And that was like I don't like. But at that point, I stopped going out. I stopped smoking weed. I stopped drinking. I stopped doing certain things of the world. So it's like okay, cool. What it is now? And I was just tired of doing all those type of things, man. So it's like okay, cool. Let me just give Jesus a try. Open myself up and give Jesus a try. So just basically, I was just tired of the way I was living. I ain't gonna lie with you. That's 100% true.
Okay.
Absolutely. What they call it in Dutch, they say levensmoe. That's exactly how I was, man.
Yeah, I don't speak that much Dutch.
Nah, it's okay, it's okay.
But
But
like,
yeah, that was it, man. I just tired of life.
I think for me, what it was is I think I had no idea of what the prophetic was until I came up here.
You mean Holland,
Yeah,
Netherlands?
yeah.
Okay,
So
okay.
I came up here and I saw something.
Right, right, right,
I heard something, but it didn't quite click for me.
right, right.
I think we had a youth meeting and they brought in Prophet Rakim to explain what it meant to be a prophet, right?
Yeah.
And the different types of prophets and things like that. And then he he looked at me and he asked if he could use me for an example.
You-
Yeah. And he then proceeded to call my mother's first name.
oh yeah.
Keep in mind, I've never met this man before in my life.
Right, right, right,
He had called my mother's first name, and then he started going into my hopes and my dreams,
right, right.
and that was I was like, nah, this is so then this is real. This is real.
Yeah, and those are the points that you come to realize. Yeah, there's gotta
Yeah.
be God.
Yeah. And
uh,
that was one point. That was one point. And then the second point, I think it was during like an all night prayer.
yeah,
Pastor Laquan had to pray, and then he looked at me, and he started telling me the prayers. So after the thing with Prophet Rakim,
yeah,
I started going and I started praying,
yeah,
right? Because I'm like, whatever this is, I want more of it. And then Pastor Laquan started telling me about all the prayers that I was praying in my prayer room.
right, right.
Now, you could, with the Prophet Rakim, you could go as far as to say that he went on Facebook, right? You could. There are skeptics who would go that far, but I'm sorry. I'm in my room by myself with the doors locked, and you're still telling me about my prayers.
Yeah, those is points. Yeah, you can point out that. Yeah,
I said, okay, so whatever this is, I don't just want more of it. I want all of it.
all of it. Right, 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 right. I feel you. I feel you. Like those are the moments I was talking about. Like it can't be coincidence.
Yeah.
You know, is above coincidence. And when it's above coincidental things, then you know, like there's a bigger power here at play, and that's God. Yeah,
No,
that's
'cause I'm still thinking about it, right? Because like I'm
uh
bringing myself back to that moment. Bro, it was crazy. I think like at a certain point, I took my glasses off. I said, I have no idea what is going on here.
I mean, yeah, you got those prophecies. You know, you gotta take it as they come.
Yeah, but it's like, and it's so I remember bringing somebody to the church a while back, and then they had this the same thing happen to them. It was Apostle Paulette. She was speaking to him, and then she started telling him about all his hopes and dreams. Mind you, this was the first time I brought this dude to the church.
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
And he decided he didn't want to be in anyone's view, so he was gonna hide in the back of the church. He was gonna take the last seat.
Yeah.
Now, for those of you who don't know this, if you come to Powerhouse, the back of the church is the worst place for you to sit if you're looking to hide. Mind you, it would probably be better for you to come to the front of the church, because there's not a single person I brought into this church, and then decided they were going to go sit to the back, and they didn't receive a prophecy the exact same day. I promise you, it's not a joke.
Should I?
He started losing his mind when she started telling him about his dreams to become a writer.
Like through the prophecy, you really got your awakening of like, boom, this is God.
Yeah.
Can't be nobody else. So you know, for some people, might it really do work with that. They come to church one time, you know, they open to receive what they have to receive, and then they get a prophecy, and then they get the awakening of like, hey, this got to be God. This got to be above coincidence. How would he know these things? And I never told nobody. So
Yeah.
those things, those type of moments, you know, that's also a way of, you know, choosing Christ. You know, but it's like you said, it's different for everybody.
Yeah, some people I think some people they just need proof. And me, I'm a very logical, theoretical type of person, right?
You don't say.
And so what makes everything like tie together for me in like a neat, pretty bow is when the theoretical and the logical
Right,
comes into the practical.
right, right.
So you can theorize the prophetic all you want to, but when you finally begin to see it working,
Yeah,
then I know that not just that, but everything behind it is real.
that's true. I hear you on that.
And that's also another reason why I'm a Christian above everything else,
Yeah.
is because I've looked at everything else. I have looked at everything else.
Right.
But God the God is the only thing that makes complete sense.
That's true.
The order of design says that we've all come from somewhere. And yeah, after adding everything up and going through the Bible and watching the Bible explain everything to me that can be explained, and then watching it happen in real life to the point where in my own prayer life, I've seen God come through off of the prayers that I have prayed.
Yeah.
I then come to the conclusion that I can't choose anyone else except Jesus.
Yeah. I got a question though, right?
All right.
When you give your life to Christ and like when you like decided this is the walk you want to walk, how did your family and friends react to that?
Well, I mean, well, as I said, I grew up in in a Christian household.
Right, right.
So I'll speak up. So for my family, they were, of course, they were not just ecstatic, but for them, it was almost like, yeah, it's a norm, right? Because like everybody here is walking a Christian walk. It would in fact be weirder if you weren't a Christian in my house,
Yeah.
in my household, if you weren't taking that walk seriously.
Yeah.
As for my friends, they started calling me pastor. They, uh, they started calling me pastor. They started but it started to at a certain point it started to look like it was bullying kind of. But then
Yeah.
at a certain
Like
point you just
mockery.
yeah, it looks
Yeah.
like mockery, but at a certain point you just realize
At
it's just
that point, you
friends.
got kind of like, I really don't care.
Yeah.
Yeah. But for me, boy, my family is mixed. Like really, really mixed.
Oh.
There's not much Christians like in my family like that. I can count them on like
One hand.
one hand, bro.
Bro.
I can count them on one hand. I got like 8 siblings, and like only one of them is in Christ. And uh, I told my mom, yeah, and she was like, okay, cool, and she was really happy for me. Um, I told my grandmother, oh Lord, she thought Jesus had come. Her reaction like, oh, LaShawn, really? Oh, like very proud, like really, really proud. And then they have like the family members like that, you know, cause like I ain't gonna lie with you, like when it was, I told my dad. I remember when we went to my dad's place, and like I told my aunts, and the first thing they did was start laughing. So I like, okay, cool, but like they wasn't laughing at me, but it was laughing at the fact like, whoa, like thinking I was joking,
Like
like.
they never thought it would
They
happen.
would never thought it would happen. If you, I tell you,
Come
bro, if you know
on,
the
man.
life I live, bro, they were like, LaShawn, you? that was the reaction. Like, LaShawn, you? And I just stood there with a serious face. I was like, yeah, me. Like, yeah, me. I wasn't laughing with her. I was like, yeah, me. But, you know, I think it takes a while for them to understand, you know. And, like, I don't have much friends, but I told one of my closest friends, and, you know, she's like, wow, okay, you know, if it works out for you, you know, if that's you find best for you, you know, then I respect that. You know, you gotta have
The if you like it, I love it line.
no. It wasn't that at all. It wasn't that at all. It wasn't that at all. Because I know how she thinks. So they were like, yeah, you know, because you have to have friends that understand and respect your lifestyle. And that was mostly it, you know, like she understood. Because even when I was in the world, you know, she know I occasionally went to church and like I am a believer of God, and you know, even on the world, I still hold some biblical principles in my life. So she know I was around there, and I told her, and she was like, okay, you know, good, and we have an understanding and a respect for it, and that's why I appreciate. You know, there was no mockery, there was no fun making. It was like cool. I respect that. You understand? So she's awareness of the life I was going to live, and she respected that. That was mostly it. I didn't, and then you know, my brothers and my sisters, yeah, yeah, yeah. I mean, the majority of my siblings is in the world, but you know, we pray for them. You know what I'm saying? but they also like, okay, this is his lifestyle that he chose, and we respect that. So that's mostly with my siblings and my family and friends.
So so you just seem to like get a lot of respect from people for choosing this.
I think it has to come with the, you give your life to Christ, but certain characteristics stays the same. It's not to say you didn't respect me first, but all of a sudden you respected me. You understand? They respected me beforehand, and they know how serious I take my certain life decisions. So the respect was already what you and move in life that they know certain things like, boom, this is a serious thing, serious matter, and you gotta be serious about it too. Because it come to a point like they were asking, yeah, LaShawn, let's come out. For example, like they would ask me, yeah, what you doing Thursday? Bible study. What you doing Monday? By prayer night. You understand? What you doing
Yeah.
Friday? Friday fryer. So like when you tell them these things, then they realize also like, oh, he is really serious about this. And then it will come to the more, as you gradually go on, then it will come to more gradually respect your lifestyle and understand more of what you're doing.
I mean, okay, so you talk about so your music, and then I think you talk about like your schedule too, and then certain habits. But like besides that, anything else you have to change?
I mean, I'm changing every day. I'm new to this. So, you gotta be open to change. So like there's certain things I might not know I have to change, but I still have to change. You understand what I mean? I'm talking about it's more easier to break off like materialistic things or like certain habits, but on a characteristic side of things, there's where it gets difficult. Because certain characteristics like you can't just have. And then you come to understand that, it takes time. It takes time and effort to like bring those things out because as you read your Bible, you see who Jesus is like, and I think the moral of the whole story is to be more like Jesus. Like remember you said once, okay, what would Jesus do? So
Yeah.
those are the things that like
I mean,
I find difficult.
that's a true definition of a Christian, right? Because
Yeah,
like you just gotta, you're walking with Christ, and the entire goal is to be more and more like Him.
yeah, yeah.
But like like some people, I feel like some like if you don't know Jesus for yourself, some people will hit you with that "What would Jesus do?" line as a disciplinary stick most of the time.
That's what I understand. Maybe.
Like almost like manipulative. I don't want to go too deep into it,
Yeah.
but like people would like treat you a certain way, and then you just gotta they would just be like, "What would Jesus do?" But like then how do you know for yourself? Because there's a question to you. Well, how would you know for yourself like how to respond to those type of questions?
Well, what would Jesus do?
Yeah.
I mean, first we gotta point out I'm still human. Yeah, I'm still human, bro. So I was born in sin. But I think the most important thing when you come see yourself in such situations, like pray about it. Go to God and ask Him how is the best way to handle these situations. Even if they ask you what Jesus would do, I wouldn't advise you to answer it if you didn't know what Jesus would do in that moment. I would advise you just to leave it and then go home or go to who you feel comfortable with in your counseling, your leaders or whoever, and just ask them, okay, like this is what I've been through and this is what this and so is the case. What's the best way to handle this? Or you go to God and be like, God, these people be annoying. They'll be tested by patience. So
Oh,
you just pray about it, man, and then you try gradually to let it go. Yeah, you know what I'm saying. I would say it takes change comes with time, so you gotta be open for that. Also, it's not a 1, 2, 3 type of thing. So that's my answer to that.
so you got to give yourself grace around the bends.
Oh, God gotta give me grace. Hey, can't come from me because tell you the honest truth, man. It's really God working. Because then, I that's my base of thinking mostly sometimes off of the Bible. So like certain scriptures, you realize, okay, this is in the Bible, so the Bible is the living word of God. So if I don't obey this, then I'm not listening to God. So then, boom, let it go. You
Yeah.
know what I'm saying? And sometimes it has to be pointed out to me also. Like, yo, LaShawn, once you say this is in the Bible, I say, okay, no problem. If it's in the Bible, then so shall it be. You know what I'm saying? But yeah, it takes time. That's the most important thing. People has to really understand it really would it takes time. And you have to really have your faith in Jesus and understand that at the end it will be well, you know. So just be patient with yourself and be patient with God, I would say. But I see we have a live audience here. So is there any questions that y'all want to ask us or like feel that has to be asked?
God bless you. I have a question.
Yes.
I've heard y'all talk about quitting music,
Hmm.
and I was wondering why is it important as Christians to listen to worship music and not? Why can't we just enjoy worldly music?
You want me to you I give you the order.
Okay. Uh, I'll give you the biblical answer to it. The Bible says all things are permissible, but not all things are beneficial. If what you really want is a closer walk with if what you really want is a closer walk with Christ, you gotta let go of that worldly music, and that's because the very thing that you're listening to is the very thing that your heart begins to mirror. So, if you're listening to songs about gun violence, I don't think people know this, but like when I used to listen to like a lot of like violent music,
Right.
at a certain point, I would just be like walking around vibing to the music, and I just start like,
That NBA young boy vibe.
yeah, be like, just waving guns in the air like you at a party or something.
Like you
But
got
like,
the Black Air Forces was
yeah, like Black Air Force energy for real. But like that's what you're beginning to emulate, and that's because that's what
right,
you're pouring into.
right,
But like now, imagine if all you were listening to all day was like worship music,
right.
and all you're listening to is like praise music. Then at a certain point, the very thing that you just built out at like completely random points wouldn't be like. And that's something I do, and I think it might be an ADHD trait, but I don't know. But like I just be belting out like random song lyrics during the day.
Yeah.
But now that I'm listening to like Theophilus and then I just randomly start singing Father of Spirits. Like Attica. My chest, my chest, my chest.
Yeah.
Oh, my chest, my chest.
I got
So,
at you. You got some good songs. I
yeah,
got at you.
but like, oh my gosh, my chest. But that's why it's so important for you to listen to those types of music.
Right.
It's so that, and it also grows your faith as well. Certain songs, they're songs from the spirit. So when you listen to those songs, it can only take you back to the spirit. When you get a song from the flesh, and it's from the flesh, the question is, where will that very same song take you?
Right. I can put input on this.
Yeah.
I think for me, you know, they say like the eyes is a gateway to the soul,
Yeah.
but also your ears can also be a gateway to your soul because what you listen to can also like influence you. Like you said, you know, when you listen to like certain rap music, you start giving guns and so forth. Like for example, I like let's say the rapper Future, right?
Yeah.
He raps about popping pills and doing all these type of drugs. You know, man, guy don't do nothing.
Not at all. But guess
But
what his fans do?
it's exactly the influence he had on people because they was listening to his music is what changed their characteristics and put them to do the drugs because of the influences had. So that's back to the point, you know, what you listen to can also have a influence upon like your lifestyle and what you do in life. So when you mostly like change your music to like a more Christ-like and godly music, then that also have an influence on your life to be more like Christ-like and follow God. So that's like my input on it, and that's how I see it. Because you know you don't want to be badly influenced to be further away from God. The whole goal is to get closer to God. So you want everything that can influence you from God to influence you. So that's
Setting,
really my input. I hope that answers your question.
Yeah,
All right.
helping you to set your minds on the things above rather than the things below.
Anybody else? Questions? Questions? Oh Lord.
God bless you all. One question I have for the both of you is, what is one benefit you guys have gained when you guys truly, fully surrendered yourself to Christ and chose for Christ?
Me. I think the benefit I gain, I think, is I'm gonna go back because of the fact I used to smoke marijuana and weed. I used to be closed. So once I stopped doing that and I gave my life to Christ, it's a process. But benefit is, I'm being more open, being more talkative about certain things, how I feel. And yeah, I think, that's also a benefit for me, a little bit more at peace because now I talk and, you get it off your chest way
Mhm.
and, you get a little bit of peace. Prayer, I used to pray, but not really much like that. But like you build up more in when you walk with Christ. So that's benefit for me, open up myself more, be more open to things of God.
I would say one of the benefits for me. Uh, okay, I'm about to give a mad corny answer, but y'all gotta let me back it up though. Y'all gotta let me back it up though, okay? Please. Um, I've gained a friend in Jesus. Now let me back it up, please. Let me back it up. Hold up. Now I know a lot of people. I know a lot of people say yeah, I've gained a friend in Jesus, and they
Go
never
ahead, go
let you
ahead,
know
go
what that
ahead.
truly means. But I mean, I've had experiences where sometimes it was as if at one time it was as if Jesus himself had walked into the room. It's to the point right now where if I go back to my secret place, I know for a fact I can go and I can be with him. I can learn about him. And in the very same way that I'm speaking to him, he's speaking to me. The Holy Ghost has become someone that is not just a thing of fiction. It is not just a thing I've watched cause people to scream and shout in the church, but he has become someone who is actively communicating with me at times. So when I say that I've gained a friend, I mean I've literally gained someone who I can talk to and they can talk back to me.
Right.
And that's one. Two, I would say I've gained purpose. I'm someone who I always knew from the time I was extremely young. I didn't even know exactly what it was that I was going to be doing, but for some reason, something in my spirit always told me that when I grew up, I was going to serve God in the church.
Right.
I've I've had dreams from the times of like definitely before I was 5 years old, because when I told my families about the times I had in a dream, they said it was impossible that I could remember them because I wasn't even 5 years old yet. But I told them I remember these things. But um, I always knew that I was going to serve God. I always knew I was going to serve in the church. I just didn't know what I was going to be doing. But now that I'm older and I know what my purpose is in Jesus, I've gained purpose.
More confidence, right?
More confidence, yeah. I've had people come up to me and even question my purpose, but when you know,
Yeah.
you know,
Yeah.
right?
All right. I need one more question and then we call it a
Two more.
Blessings.
two more questions. All
Oh, we
right.
got time.
We
All
call
right.
it a day.
Blessings. I think Brother Lisha, you were speaking about this. You said when you came to Christ, you
Yeah.
started listening to worship music.
Yeah.
But why not praise?
I feel this is personal, the spirit talks to me more and I feel God's presence more in worship. That's just me personally. Because, I don't know how to explain. I'm trying my best to explain it to you, but it's something about worship music, right? Just on the rhythm, the beats, and the things. It's more of a yeah. When you worship something, you're giving it your all. You could be praised like thank, but like worship is really like you really into it with God, and that's the thing with me. It really do touch my soul much better, and it really do speaks to me when I listen to worship music. So if you see me in the church and worship comes on, just Noah's prophet. All right, no problem. All right, I got a question. What would you guys, and then a separate answer from both of you,
Right.
say to somebody who is in between roads, who wants to know, should I serve Christ? Is it worth serving Christ? Why should I serve Christ? That's the whole theme for tonight. You
Yeah.
guys did so great. What would you tell them? Summarize. What would you say to them? I'll give this one first to Brother Stavares. That's a really good question.
You can go.
The floor is yours.
Well, my first answer would always be to choose for Jesus. I would tell them to choose for Jesus, and this is gonna sound mad controversial, but I would tell them choose Jesus and not his followers,
Yeah.
because his followers are yet human, and humans let you down, but Jesus won't. I would tell them to go after that which is consistent, that which doesn't let you down. Everything else can fail you. If you idolize a man, the man can fail you. But if you idolize Jesus, he will never let you down. In my personal experience, he has never let me down. In the testimonies that I've heard from others who faithfully serve him, who know him, he has never let them down either.
Right. My turn. So your question is like for someone who's struggling to fully like give their life to Christ, right? In the crossroads of between black and white and in the gray area. What would my advice be to them? To be completely honest, I would say be open and give it a try. Be open for it. Truly open and understand like, okay, this is Jesus I want to meet. It's Jesus I'm going for and it's Jesus I want to see. So I would say, take that step. The first step is always the step of faith. So I would say, be open, take that first step of faith, and God is someone He will never fail you, and everything He has for you is good. So it's already written. The promises He has for you is already fulfilled. So try and go after those promises, and if you go after God, those promises will be fulfilled. So I say, take the step of faith, because you could come to a point where you could tell yourself, what I personally tell myself was like, what do I truly have to lose? So that's really my answer to that.
Hold up, I want to piggyback off of something you said, because you said go into it with like an open heart.
Yeah.
That is so key. I've had people who they said that they were going to come to church, but they came with the heart of proving him false. They came with the heart of, yeah, I'm just coming because someone asked me to come.
Yeah.
But there was a testimony of a guy who said he wanted to know this Jesus for himself.
Yeah.
Everybody kept on, screaming, shouting about him in church.
Yeah.
And people kept on coming and evangelizing to him. But he said he was done with all of it. He just wanted to know Jesus for himself.
True.
Now, he said he went into his room, he locked himself up, and he said he wasn't going to leave that room until Jesus came to him.
Real bad man concentration.
He stayed in that room for about 12 hours.
Yeah.
So he said from 6 in the night till 6 in the morning, he stayed in that room. And he was praying, he was crying out. And then he said at the 6-hour mark, he gave up. And then because what he wanted to happen with his meeting with Jesus wasn't fulfilled, he got disappointed.
Okay.
And as he was walking out of that room, he came out of the room and he wasn't saying, yeah, Jesus must not be real. He wasn't saying any of that. He was saying he was disappointed that he didn't get to meet Jesus. And he said it must have been not even 10 minutes later, Jesus walked into the room and he had an encounter with him.
Jesus was like, gotcha. Gotcha. But yeah. So I hope that answers everybody questions. We thank for everybody who's here, and that's it. Episode 2, part 2, episode 2 coming soon. Thank you.